Hello, everyone. Welcome to another DCU Daily. Welcome to the show, as it says at the bottom right there. We have a very good show for you today. Maybe not terribly long, but we've got a good one. We're going to be talking about maybe some more interesting topics. Just try to keep things on the down low because we will be talking about Jimmy Kimmel's cancellation, suspension type thing. Just remember to keep things civil in the chat and the comments. If you cannot, you'll be timed out and eventually banned. Just keep that in mind. But, of course, with that, we're going to be moving along to more of the legacy of Robert Redford. There's still more to talk about in regards to him. So we're going to be going over that as well as Ryan Gosling being featured once again in a new teaser for the upcoming Star Wars film, as well as going to be talking about Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, the final episode of the first season of Alien Earth, hopefully the first of many, and then talking about The Paper, as well as Ticketmaster getting sued, Nature is Healing, maybe, and the new reactions, the reactions are in for Jordan Peele-produced Him, and they're not looking so great, guys, so we'll get into that. And then, of course, we have a ton of MCU news for you guys. Got Daredevil to talk about, lots of Doomsday stuff, and Fantastic Four as well. Then we got our quick hits, not too many quick hits, so they'll actually be pretty quick this time around. And then, of course, probably the most important thing that we talked about, I got the wrong shirt for this, but hey, it's still DC related. We are going to be talking about the 5th episode of Peacemaker, the big episode before apparently the grandiose 3 episodes that James Gunn has been talking about since, God knows the past couple weeks, past couple months. And then, of course, we do have a couple other DC stories for you guys today, mainly Batman focused, but a couple other things as well. But before I spend too much time filibustering about a ton of things, I mentioned Ryan Gosling, right? Well, we got to show that we're enough, right? So let's get Ryan Gosling on here and get into the news.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. Number 2.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
You're
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chorus.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
Boom. There we go. But hello, guys. Welcome to the show. I'm John. Nice to see you today. And you're kind of only stuck with me today. Dan is still feeling under the weather, so you're just going to have me today. So hopefully we'll have a very quick show. I am a little tired, so there is that. Got a bit of a headache, but I'm still going to remain at my best for you guys because that's what y'all deserve. Monique is in the chat sharing her lovely dinner. And then we also have Right Dude and Enterprising in the chat. What's up? The sky, mainly. And it begins. It so begins, just like Batman. We are going to get into this. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I'm not going to be like major angry or major emotion. Just let's cool it down a bit. We're gonna get through it. But thank you very much. But obviously the first, and remember, luckily this is at the very beginning of the show, so we won't have a ton of people. So hopefully we'll get through this quicker and then we can move on to not as controversial things, but I feel like there was a proper need to talk about this. So we are talking about it. And that is Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel has now been suspended from his late night show. and a lot of people, the Writers Guild, SAG-AFTRA, many musicians condemn the suspension. The reasoning for the suspension is he had made controversial comments about a certain someone that lost their life. So now he is being suspended, and a lot of people are calling this an attack on free speech, and it kind of depends on what you're talking about. Um, because it's a whole different thing. Um, so I mean, I'm not gonna let you know my thoughts because we don't want to get into opinionated arguments here. But essentially, what they are saying is, after saying these comments, after a lot of people are saying these comments, certain people are saying, well, this is an attack. This is like a lot of people are saying, oh, because he said these things and now that he is being condemned for them. When if it was the other way around, he would not be condemned. So yeah, it's a very interesting situation, and SAG-AFTRA is saying that this is a suppression of free speech. This is a suppression of a lot of things. So it's very very interesting where this is kind of going. Technically, it is not. Um, technically, it's not a suppression of freedom of speech. A lot of people don't seem to get what freedom of speech is. Freedom of speech is essentially being reprimanded by the government. Um, on your own thoughts and ideals, which, we might be heading that way. But in terms of this, ABC is a private corporation. While they were kind of swindled into doing this by the FCC, this is not unlawful or unconstitutional in any form because they are a private enterprise. Essentially, you know, these people can pretty much do whatever they want. They're essentially suppressing a guy's controversial statements in light of a tragedy and doing whatever they please. It's kind of the same thing of like, yeah, you could. It's kind of the idea of, um, you know, yeah, exactly. He was saying it on corporate time. If he said this on Twitter, and if he said this out on the street and then he got fired, then it's they still are in the realm of firing him, but at the same time it would be a little bit lesser. But the fact he said it on corporate time is showing something not great. So I don't agree with it. I do agree that where this is headed does seem like a condemning of free speech, but as of uh, on a technical scale, no, this is not condemning free speech. But if, somebody else on another side of the spectrum said how much they hate gay people or trans people on their corporate dime, it's unlikely that they would get fired. I'm just going to leave it at that. But in light of the news, Damon Lindelof has taken a stand with Jimmy Kimmel that he is not going to be working with Disney until Jimmy Kimmel Live is reinstated. I can't in good conscience. Well, let's hope that like every corporation fires someone that Damon Lindelof agrees with, then he'll never have to work again. Kidding. But I just hate Damon Lindelof. But so Disney is free from Damon Lindelof's terrible writing. That's something, I guess. If only Lanterns was. What a shame. But again, these are all jokes. Just kidding. But that's neither here nor there. So there is ripples. There is a lot of stuff going on right now. But yeah, so Damon Lindelof feels similarly in regards to this. And Jon Stewart, he has, I don't know when Daily Show is on, but he is going to be on his own show because there's a rotating batch of hosts for the Daily Show. But he is going to be on his own show, and he's if you remember his response to Stephen Colbert getting fired, that's gonna be something for the ages. I have not seen it yet, so that will be something for the ages. So, we love Jon Stewart. Um, you know, I think it's well, hey, Dan's in the chat. It's Disney clearing the way for the Nexstar Tegna merger, who own many ABC affiliates. A pretty apathetic reason to censor a late night show, but they're making the easy choice. Yeah, it's kind of like what it was with Stephen Colbert. It's like, oh, we have these reasonings as to why, when it's okay, we know why, but you know. So Jon Stewart, we're in for a Jon Stewart rant for the ages. Definitely say that. But with the last bit of controversial news today, hundreds of union writers and actors march outside of Disney to protest ABC's decision to yank Jimmy Kimmel Live. Now, it's no secret I have never been a huge fan of Jimmy Kimmel. Um, you know, because our administration doesn't like jokes being made about them. That's essentially what it is. So, um, and it's not an unlawful or unconstitutional practice to fire someone for a controversial statement. So, you know, um, I know Dan being an Andor fan, yeah, we can, insert the Natalie Portman meme from the prequels. This is how Liberty dies with thunderous applause. Yeah, it's kind of seeming that way, but there are tons of people that are behind Jimmy Kimmel because they feel the firing is unjust, and it is definitely unjust. It's just, not unlawful or unconstitutional, like many are led to believe. It's just kind of a bullshit thing, essentially. But yes, let's move on from this because I don't want to talk too many controversial things. So we are going to move on. So anybody, let's try to keep this chat civil when we get to a bigger audience. So next thing we're going to be talking about is the wonderful Robert Redford. On the other side of the spectrum, we have Robert Redford. And so essentially what this is about, you know, just this is essentially about Roger Ross Williams and Barry Levinson and Richard Linklater, just talking further about the greatness of Robert Redford and what he has done for Hollywood and what he's done in his personal life in many different things. Um, I'm so sorry. But just essentially talking about um you know Roger Ross Williams saying his narrative debut. He's like, just talking with Robert. He's like, I told Bob about my fears. I said, I'm a documentarian. I'm really nervous about making this transition and working with actors. He said, lean into your documentary experience. You're way ahead of the game. You actually know how to tap into people and get them to open up. Williams revealed to Redford that the scene that worried him the most was the film's sex scene where we were sitting at the table in the lunchroom at the Sundance Resort, and he storyboarded the sex scene for me. He drew out the sex scene for me on the back of script pages, remembers Williams, who has since had the pages framed and hung in his office. As we know, just a couple of days ago, the world lost a legendary creative voice in Hollywood. And this is just another remembrance of what a great and creative voice he was. He wasn't just a hot guy reading lines on a piece of paper type of thing. He was more than that. He, is remembering what just the kind of person he was, and it feels like that kind of person isn't really made the way they were anymore. And no pun intended, I understand. Haha. But yes, he helped launch many careers and so many you know uh giving them an outlet, of course. Film festivals had zero cachet before Sundance. That is true. Robert Redford truly was a magnificent human being, not just a tremendous actor, just an overall great person from the stories that have been told. And, on his latest movie, um, Dark Winds, which was one of the final things he worked on. Um, it is he played a rather small role on I think he played a very small role on it, but it was executive produced by him, obviously. Um but but yeah, it which was, by the way, Dark Winds was an adaptation of a couple of Hillerman's novels, and this was also executively produced by George R. R. Martin as well. So yes, this was you know, they made cameo appearances in the show, and again, this was just another person just, talking about how tremendous he was. The producer, uh, you know, the rest of the executive producers were just paying tribute to him, and you know, George, the whole world's waiting, make a move, and making a meta reference to the, it's just they essentially had this to say: today we remember a visionary artist, mentor, and friend. Our producing team is humbled and honored to have worked with Robert Redford for over a decade, developing Dark Winds. So yeah, his mission was always to give back. So yes, this is just another remembrance for the great Robert Redford. And just another thing that I feel like is pretty interesting in regards to this. Um, was All the President's Men. I'm not going to go into this majorly, but I know I was reading a bit the day he passed that he was apparently obsessed with the Watergate scandal. Like, he was like, as just as a man learning from all of this, he was just like entranced with it. And he was one of the many driving forces to really get this film off the ground. And obviously this goes into more descriptors, but um, that he wanted to, once the book was made about All the President's Men, he immediately bought the rights, and he's like, I want to make this movie. And initially they just wouldn't make the movie, and they just didn't, and then eventually they got through, and he poured all of his heart and soul into it. And Woodward and Bernstein, he would call them majorly. He would he would be referencing journalists, and he worked with journalists to make sure he got that environment correct. And you know he it was it was crazy. It was a very interesting story, and just goes to show again the type of love that he had for the films that he made. So, you know, um, he was in Winter Soldier, Monique. It was Winter Soldier. Um, yeah, it's Robert Redford was a brilliant, brilliant man, and yeah, it's sad times indeed with everything going on. Not another thing we need, but it happens. But we're going to move on to the next thing, something a little bit brighter, something quite literally, because the actual you know thing is bright, the picture is bright, and that's Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling's Star Wars Starfighter, even though it's not his movie, he's the poster child for it, quite literally. And we got to look when they started filming. The day they started filming was that black and white picture, but now we get a little bit more with Flynn Gray in as well, who also appeared in the initial picture. But we get a spot in terms of this, so we get a little bit more. They're on the Mediterranean Sea, and they're talking. It's kind of really interesting. All these movies getting made of Star Wars, and that's really insane. But just an interesting light into seeing what's going on with the film. Matt Smith, Mia Goth, Aaron Pierre, Amy Adams are all in this little film. We haven't gotten a Star Wars film in 6 years, and we're going to be getting Mandalorian and Grogu next year, and then we're going to be getting Star Wars Starfighter in 2027. So it's very exciting. For all people that care. I'm still not going to see this. No offense. I just kind of don't really care about Star Wars anymore, unfortunately. Um, I just yeah, but John, do you think if they bring back Patty Jenkins for Rogue Squadron, these two movies are going to be connected to each other? I can't imagine she will after the tanking of Wonder Woman 1984. It's unlikely that that she will come back. So, you know, I think this could be really good. It could be something more a little bit more grounded, kind of like what Solo tried to be, but ultimately failed at. But I don't like the things going for it. Yeah, it has Ryan Gosling and Mia Goth and Aaron Pierre and Amy Adams. But Sean Levy, I still don't think he's that great of a director, even, because like the whole basis of, you know, Deadpool and Wolverine was no matter who they got, it still would have been a nostalgia driven kind of movie that was like the 16th swan song for the Fox X-Men. So yeah, I mean it has a lot of people's attention, enterprising. So you know, anyway, but yeah, very exciting for the people that still really care about this, but this is what I care about. Hell yeah. So apparently we know that obviously, Netflix, it's going to be coming to Netflix in November, but we did know that in the early to mid October, it's going to get a limited theatrical window. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Um, it's also good evening, movie Spud. Very, very lovely to see you. But anything saying it doesn't have to be with Patty Jenkins. It could be with Sean Levy, and he could fill these two. Maybe we'll have to see. I mean, we have to see if Starfighter is successful. Maybe they will resurrect Rogue Squadron if it is good enough. So, yes. But IMAX, going to IMAX, although spelled wrong, it should be all capital. But yeah. So apparently, it's gonna be going to IMAX for limited screenings. Not a ton, but I assume it's gonna be at the major 70 millimeter screenings rather than the regular IMAX screenings. But hey, if it is, I'm gonna go see it in IMAX if I can. So um uh Rich Gelfond had this to say: "It really is a theatrical movie. Frankenstein and IMAX is great synergy. He's big, IMAX is big, loud, and it will debut on IMAX in a couple of weeks." And this, while the reviews have been mainly mixed for the time being, I'm still very excited for this. I think, having it be on IMAX, because it seems like, even though it's a streaming movie, it seems grandiose. Guillermo del Toro is, a genius. I genuinely believe it. And same here. I can't wait for it. And this looks fantastic. If I can find a way to see it on IMAX, I 100% will. Very exciting, and it doesn't say specifically, but deadline, it will be the limited footprint of about 10 screenings. So only 10 screenings, and I can only imagine it's probably at the 70 millimeter locations, which are about a handful, like maybe like I think 10 to 12. I think Dan probably would know that. Um, Blade 2, I do love Blade 2. I don't think I love aspects of Blade 1. I love aspects of Blade 2, but I don't love them wholeheartedly. I think there's a lot of greatness in them, but I don't love them totally as movies. But still has a lot of, I mean, Pinocchio and Shape of Water are probably my favorites of his. But yeah, very exciting to see. Absolutely. But the next thing we have going from horror to sci-fi is Alien. Alien Earth. We just reviewed the latest episode the last time we were on the show. Um so this past episode, which was Emergence, we did get a little bit more with a teaser trailer. I won't show it here, but it's prepping a lot of stuff, more stuff with Kirsch and Morrow and Hermit and Windy, um, and whatever the xenomorph is. We'll see where this leads. We don't know where it's going to go, but it seems like a lot of hectic shit, and I am excited for it. Also, hello, Decom Games. Um, I don't know if they'll do that. That was kind of a very lofty experiment, so we'll see. Oh, I'm sorry, but yeah, this is very exciting for Alien and the Alien fans. I'm excited for the season finale. Hopefully, it's a season finale, not a series finale. I don't believe that it has gotten a season 2 just yet, but been um it has been in the pipeline for a bit. So, you know, it began as early as 2019. I don't know when Disney was bought Fox out, but whatever it is, I hope it gets a second season. This very much is like, I can imagine that this was 2 years set before Alien, and then the second season will be set a year before, and then the last season will be like concurrent, and then it's gonna show the events, like the beginning events of Alien. I can imagine that they do that. Yes, I hope so. We are gonna be getting into that soon. Just gotta wait for DCU Daily on that one. But yes, very exciting. Maybe some more exciting news. The paper gets NBC run under NBCU windowing strategy as the Office offshoot, and Stumble join fall schedule. Reggie Dinkins held for midseason. So anybody excited to watch this on cable, then you can. Apparently, NBC has set its 2 comedy blocks that will launch in November. Peacock original The Paper is getting a broadcast run behind St. Denis Medical on Mondays starting November 10th. And the new NBC cheerleading comedy series Stumble will follow Happy's Place on Fridays, with the block debuting November 7th. And then the network's other new comedy series, The Fall and Rise of Reggie Dinkins, starring Tracy Morgan, is being held for midseason. So if for all 3 of you that still have this shit on cable, then by all means you can give it a watch. But I don't know if does anybody still have cable? I mean, I still have cable because my dad prefers cable. He wants to watch. Well, poor enterprising. You don't even got Peacock. Well, there is a way around that. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying there is. So I'm just saying. I've heard good things about the show. Like I've heard it's okay. It's not great. It's obviously not The Office, but hey, The Office first season was not very good. Because it was essentially just trying too hard to copy what came before with the British version of The Office. So, yes, I am. Unfortunately, Dan is not here, but he'll be back hopefully tomorrow. We're not sure yet. We're not gonna promise anything, but hopefully he'll be okay for the twofer we have tomorrow. But we'll see. And anybody a fan of this, then by all means you can watch it on cable instead of Peacock. But some really good news. Apparently, the FTC sues Live Nation and Ticketmaster over resale tactics and deceptive pricing. The Federal Trade Commission, along with 7 states, has sued Giant Live Nation and its Ticketmaster subsidiary for raising ticket prices by illegally working with scalpers and deceptive bait and switch pricing. Now, we have seen this time and time again. Ticketmaster is a monopoly, no matter what. You know, uh, it's a pretty much a meme, a joke at this point about how horrendously awful Ticketmaster's business practices have been for fucking decades. Pearl Jam tried to fucking get around it in the 90s, but they had to sell out because, Ticketmaster really fucking controlled everything. So, and they still do. But when it's, when the when the government has to eventually step in and be like, "Hey, shut the fuck up," then maybe it means something. I don't think anything will come of this because too big to fail, the rich get richer, you know how it is. So I don't think anything will actually come of this, but it goes to show how, even Movie Spud agrees with me on that one. I don't think anything's going to happen, but we can only hope that Ticketmaster will actually, possibly not fuck over its customers with the fee, the sitting in line fee, the radicalized fee, the fuck you fee, the sitting instead of standing fee, the standing instead of sitting fee, the existing fee, the breathing fee, the having hair fee, the not having hair fee, the having glasses fee, the shut the fuck up fee, the please shut the fuck up or else we'll kill you fee. So, um, you know, that's probably smart, Tony. But yeah, it's we can only hope, Enterprising. We can only hope. But yeah, and I mean, as it says, the much sued Live Nation controls roughly 80% or more of major concert venues' primary ticketing for concerts and a growing share of ticket sales in the secondary market, the suit noted, saying that from 2019 to 2024 alone, consumers spent more than $82.6 billion purchasing tickets from Ticketmaster. As tickets become harder to find and prices soar, the company has blamed scalpers, but says the suit defendants have tactically worked with those very same scalpers, allowing them to unlawfully purchase millions of dollars in tickets in the primary market so that defendants can extract more profit for themselves when reselling those tickets on the secondary market. Defendants' illegal conduct frustrates artists' desire to maintain affordable ticket prices that fit the needs of ordinary American families, costing ordinary fans millions of dollars a year. So, one of the few things that the man in charge has done, he made it clear in his March executive order that the federal government must protect Americans from being ripped off when they buy tickets to live events. When a dumbass like him can see the writing on the wall, that just goes to show something. Also, oh yes, of course, the using the restroom fee. Of course, how can I forget that one? And then also, hello, Patrick. So hopefully Ticketmaster can be conquered in some way. Again, I'm not gonna breathe easy now. I'm not gonna actually, it's scalpers have been a parasitic thing on every industry for God knows how long, and it just seems to be getting worse. And yeah, so it's just I think they just need to find good ways around it because, the whole thing with the Nintendo Switch 2, most of that was scalpers, and people like, oh, Nintendo was like, oh, we made a fastest selling consoles. Like, yeah, those are fucking scalpers, bro. Like, calm down. So, yeah, it doesn't shock me that Ticketmaster has been working with these fucking parasitic leeches for so long because they're that fucking corrupt. So, it's just, yeah, it's ridiculous, and hopefully this actually does something. I don't think it will, but let's hope it does. And that's the best we can do, is hope. So, next thing, contrary to hoping, is hoping that this was good, and it turns out it might not be, but the Jordan Peele produced Justin Tipping debut, Him, apparently has reached a record low. The much anticipated new football themed horror film from the director Justin Tipping apparently might not be as great as everyone thinks. Apparently, when we talk about Peacemaker, I am going to be talking spoilers. So if you have not watched the episode, don't watch my review of it because I'm going to be getting into that. Yes. So, and I will mention that again when we get to it. But yes, the Justin Tipping Him, originally called Goat, but thanks to the Steph Curry produced. Oh my God, Steph Curry produced animated film coming out next year, I believe. they had to change the name, and they changed it to him. Marlon Wayans, and I'm blanking on the guy's name, but they are starring as a mentor and mentee, working at some strange football camp, and things go awry from there. Tyreek Withers, that's his name. Tyreek Withers is his Marlon Wayans mentoree. And apparently the the critic score is not too high, at a very, very low 33% at the time being. I believe, well, now it's down to 32%. I believe it opened to 34 and then it went down. It's been precipitously going down. Essentially, yeah, so I feel bad for Jordan Peele, man. This movie is allegedly a stinker. He couldn't get weapons, and his new movie was taken off the release schedule. So, yeah, it seems like no matter what, Jordan Peele can't win. Um, well, let's not get into spoilers, please. Not in the chat. We're going to be talking about that later. We're not talking about that now. So yes, I hope that I just hope he produces something better, because the last few things he's produced hasn't been great. Candyman was infamously one of them, even though he co-wrote that. So yeah, I do hope this is I'm still gonna see it. I hope it's good. Um, I hope 32% gets higher, but again, I'm not, or the audience score is good, but I'm not holding my breath, because I mean, I love the trailer. I mean, the idea of football being a horror movie, like, that's pretty great, because, there's a lot of things you can do with the horrificness of football, like the cult like fan base when it comes to sports, how guys get really fucked up because of constantly hitting their head and destroying their bodies for a sport, essentially. So, um, yeah, I hope Justin Tipping's, as Patrick Olinger says, I hope Justin Tipping's next film is better. But we don't know. Maybe the critics just hate it, and maybe the people might like it. But from what I've heard, that this plot is very minimal, and it's very pretentious, and it's very surreal with on the surface, but nothing lying underneath it. But obviously, we will get there when we get there. So that is unfortunately the case for him. And the main side of the news. Now we're going to get into the MCU side of things with Daredevil. Daredevil Born Again. They it is officially renewed for a season 3. And congratulations to the show. I know that season 1 was kind of a rocky start, according to a lot of people. And so let's hope that season 2 is even better, and then it actually warrants a season 3. I hope it's good. I don't know if I'll ever watch the show, because the original Netflix version was so fucking good that the middling season 1 was very sad to see. Especially, it was a big thing about what people want to see. I agree with that. To be fair, I agree. So all the fans of Daredevil that are willing to stick with the show after the mixed season 1, I got happy news for you. Daredevil is not quite dead yet. So, we will see. We will see if they actually warrant a season 3, or much like Dexter Original Sin, they're going to back away at the last second of season 2 is even worse than season 1. So, but moving on to Doom, Avengers Doomsday on the big screen, small screen to the big screen. Apparently, according to this, it says that Marvel Studios will adapt House of M for Avengers Doomsday. Okay, so we've got a lot of reports on what the plot will be. A lot of people say that Doom is like gonna try to find these incursions that were caused by Captain America, and he's going across the multiverse to fix them, and he wants to like take it over because he needs to do this, that, and the other thing. So yeah. But apparently that might not be the case. Well, maybe, because to be fair, both House of M and Secret Wars deal with a lot of reality bending kind of thing. So I think uh so obviously we will get there when we get there, but House of M is a very famous story, so maybe this could warrant something good. Who knows? But it might be a lot if they're adapting this and Secret Wars back to back. So obviously, Alex Perez had this to say. I heard we'd be getting a Wanda variant from the X-Men universe that we'll see in Avengers Doomsday, which is a universe where Magneto is finally ruling Genosha as he had always pictured it. And we'd have like a royal family type of situation with Eric, Pietro, Wanda, and Polaris. This is an idea that has been pushed since Multiverse of Madness and then Deadpool and Wolverine, but it never feels like the right fit because it feels like it takes away from the overall plot. He continued, however, the main point they would like to explore with Wanda is the father-daughter relationship with Eric. So, what does that mean for the MCU? Obviously this is coming from Cosmic Circus. Cosmic Circus has been iffy, so take this with a massive grain of salt because this most likely is bullshit because it doesn't really fit in with what they're trying to do. So they might, they might have this like eventually be the case, like kind of like the beginning of the new world, like the reset that they're planning. Like, oh, it's gonna start out with like Magneto ruling Genosha, and it's going to go on from there. Then House of M is going to happen. I could see them doing that, but for Doomsday, for doing House of M for Doomsday, I don't think that's the case. That just seems way too big and way too ridiculous. Also, hello, Elite Easy, nice to see you. House of Cal AOL. I understood that reference, rather unfortunately, but we know you're a comic expert, Elite Easy. So, works for comics because you have 60 years of history. We don't have any X-Men except for the Fox universe. I agree. They're not still doing multiverse stuff, are they? Didn't Deadpool shit all over the multiverse saga? Yeah, but like they're still going to continue it, and they're going to do multiverse stuff for Secret Wars. Like that's the whole basis of Secret Wars is a multiversal shit. Well, at least kind of, sort of the original version, but mainly the 2015 version, which is the one they're adapting. Yeah, and it's still the multiverse saga. Just because they're making fun of it doesn't mean that they're not going to do it anymore. But that's not the last bit of Doomsday news. Apparently, Avengers Doomsday rumored details on Doctor Doom's powers and nefarious connection to blank. Last week we allegedly got our first look at Doctor Doom in with the promo art, the various pieces of promo art. But again, this is Cosmic Circus, so we don't know if this is true or not. But apparently he's there's going to be a connection to Simulou's Shang-Chi's 10 Rings. And the accompanying light show video appeared to feature the villain wielding Shang-Chi's 10 rings. He may feel a bit out of place because it'll be the first time being in a large group of superpowered heroes. Although I do have to say, did you see Doom's recent design from the Disney 2026 Merchandise Expo in China? Shoot, not the one-to-one design they'll use in Doomsday, but it's close. Say, upon closer inspection, doesn't that placard Doom have on his abdomen look mighty interesting? It almost looks like you could bounce a ring off of it, or 10. And then he says, a man scorned by the incursions that are happening across the multiverse, dooming countless realities, and he wants to bring an end to that by any means necessary. So much like, oh, he's really the good guy, even though blah, blah, blah. So, so according to the design here, I don't know where it shows that, but apparently it might be tied to Shang-Chi, which I could see, but like it feels like Doctor Doom would get power somewhere else, not really Shang-Chi. Not to denounce Shang-Chi or anything, because the 10 rings are quite powerful, but at the same time, it just feels like, I don't know, that's small potatoes to Doctor Doom, especially if he's going to become like that Beyonder role. Maybe he could use that for from strong cheese, 10 rings, but I don't know. It just seems a little bit off to me. But yeah. Will that be the end of it though? This Secret Wars probably. They're probably gonna, Crisis on Infinite Earths this bitch and combine all the realities into one, or more New 52, because that's what they did with New 52 is that they rebirthed the multiverse, but then they combined the Vertigo, Mainline, and Wildstorm universes into one because they were never supposed to be fractured or something stupid. But like that's essentially what they're kind of doing here. Is essentially that New 52 idea where like the Spider-Man universe, the Fox universe, and the 616, the 199999 universe are going to combine into the 616 universe. I could see that happening. I don't hate it, but I don't like it either because 616 is the comics. Anything else is not the comic. So, you know, I just think I think it seems like they're kind of doing with that, but who knows? We'll just have to see. Again, this is all just hearsay at this point. I guess that's true. I mean, but the thing is, isn't that a little bit, if you're getting all the trinkets, isn't that just mirroring what Thanos did with the stones? Like, you're essentially doing the same thing over again, but it's a different villain. So it's like, I don't know. Unsuperboy Prime the universe. Yeah, just punch it and everything will be fine. But yeah, I don't know if this is true. I could see it, but again, I'm iffy. Cosmic Circus has been very off on a lot of things. But last thing that was definite, apparently the Avengers Doomsday Crew wrap gift features a piece of classic Doctor Doom artwork. We did talk about this a couple days ago, where it seems like they wrapped filming for the time being. You know, but we did get a little bit this, so I don't think it says who got it. Oh, it's not the Spider-Man universe, sorry, the Fantastic Four universe, my bad. Fantastic Four, Fox, 199999. Maybe even Spider-Man, because there's rumors that Tobey Maguire is going to appear too. So who the fuck knows? But yeah, so it seems like they got a classic bit of Doctor Doom artwork for the wrapping of filming. So it seems like they are wrapped. It seems like they have wrapped filming. Obviously, they can go back for reshoots much later, but it seems like no, we're it's pretty much confirmed that it is a silly number, but that was the number that Feige got, for the MCU universe. It's 199999. Hell, it was even confirmed in Across the Spider-Verse because that's what 2099 said. So, yeah, exactly. Won't believe anything until the movie comes out. People out there would read script if they could and ruin it for everyone. Of course. What is your motivation? Yeah, so but this looks good. So it seems like they have ended filming. So yeah, very exciting. If they have, and then they'll probably have some reshoots later because it's Marvel. They always have fucking reshoots. But then we have the last bit, something a little bit lighter to end on. That's Fantastic Four, speaking of Doom. And it seems like we got a little bit of a funnier thing with her. The bloopers have come back in, and it's very cute, very adorable, and it looks I'm not gonna just babies farting and shit, but yeah, hopefully we don't get demonetized by the mouse. But I also love right here, it's a boring speech, I didn't write it. I love Pedro Pascal shitting on the fucking garbage ass writing of this movie. So okay, it's not garbage ass writing. I'm just trying to be funny, but I just love how he's shitting on the Marvel writing for this, and just being like, yeah, fuck you. But just the camaraderie on set, but it was nice to see. Even though I didn't love it as much as everyone else did, I thought it was a good movie. Not a great movie, not an amazing movie, just a good movie. Yeah, but still fun to see. Still fun to see. But that's it for the MCU and news side of things. That's it for the news. But we got to get into something a little bit more quick, perhaps. going into okay. Oh my god, so exciting! And the first quick hit we have is actually DCU related. So boom, there we go, DC. So we were going to talk about this yesterday prior to the episode coming out, but obviously both of us were not feeling well, so we you know, we're going to talk about it now to see if they're right. So everything DCU, which they report on some DCU stuff, they reveal some things. But this was towards the end of last episode where they're like, you're not taking Peacemaker down alone. And Frank Grillo's Rick Flag said, we'll have everyone there. And well, everything DCU claimed that, it's got to be Creature Commandos. Well, spoiler alert, it's not. It's not just a ragtag team of Argus agents. So, and this happens at the very beginning of the episode, so it's not really much of a spoiler. So yeah, not really much of anything. Just a bunch of people. That's all. But still very Quicks chocolate mix. Do you think? I hope so. Maybe not Matt Shackman. Get someone like more talented, like they did for, like, oh look, hey, we're getting Sam Raimi, Scott Derrickson, great, but then oh my god, Sam Raimi. And it turned out they put their Marvel shit in there, and I hope they get a sequel too. And a good sequel, not Rise of the Silver Surfer, and no Justice Gang either. That's true. So, yeah. So it's actually not true. They didn't have everyone there. So, next up, apparently, anybody excited for Pinocchio Unstrung? This is the look of Jiminy Cricket, voiced by none other than Robert Englund himself. The Pinocchio Unstrung film is one of the many movies that have come out that are like take public domain stories and make them for and make horror versions out of them, like Popeye and Steamboat Willie and like all these, and Winnie the Pooh, like Bambi's another one, and there's the whole like Pooniverse and shit like that. So as it says here, it's going to be helmed by Reese Frake Waterfield, and it follows young James as he learns of his grandfather's Geppetto's deadly secret, Pinocchio, and they're going to make Pinocchio into a horror villain. But yes, this is what he looks like in the film. I don't know if I'll be watching this. I mean, I didn't mind the first Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I thought it was like good campy crap. Like, it's not good, but yeah. It is called the Pooniverse with an I instead of an A, though. Freddy's back as a cricket. Cool, I guess. But if you care about this, then boom, there you go. I don't know if I'll be watching. I still am curious about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey Part 2. So, yeah, no, there have been horror versions, but it's part of like this whole new movement. I know Bambi the Reckoning is going to get that's another adaptation that they're doing. But yeah, cool, I guess. I would say just stick with the Guillermo del Toro version. But apparently for Saturday Night Live season 51, apparently we're going to get some hosts. Bad Bunny and Sabrina Carpenter as music guests, and not music guests, but they hosts that are musicians, and then Amy Poehler as another host who was on the show at one point. And so very exciting for all three people that still watch SNL. So Bad Bunny is going to be doing his second run as host with Doja Cat as a musical guest, and then Amy Poehler will be coming in on October 11th, Bad Bunny on October 4th. And then but yeah, Sabrina Carpenter will do double duty because she's going to be on host on October 18th and the music guest, so I wasn't totally wrong on that. So yeah, all you people that still care about Saturday Night Live, boom, there you go. He has Amazon Live Concert Saturday. Cool. Very cool. I don't really care about Bad Bunny, but yeah. Rick did SNL skit. Wow. Same here. Well, according to some people, I am. But yeah, next up, speaking of old, SpongeBob. The SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants sets world premiere at AFI Fest. Apparently, the fifth movie. God, fucking Steven Hilberg's rolling in his grave. That ahead of its December 19th theatrical release. Apparently, it's going to make its AFI Fest debut on October 26th. So cool, great. This franchise has been in the gutter for the past fucking 10 years, even before Steven Hillenburg fucking died. So, whatever. Fuck SpongeBob. Fuck modern SpongeBob, at least. First 3 to 5 seasons were good, and then it just went downhill from there. But next up, The Who. Apparently, they bring the house down at Hollywood Bowl farewell show in light of Roger Daltrey's kind of health kind of going down a bit. They do plan on, that they are going to be finally. I mean, to be fair, this doesn't mean a lot to rock musicians because they have tons of farewell tours and farewell shows, but it seems like this might actually be the proper one because Roger Daltrey has said in the past, as I mentioned, that his health is going down. So after 43 years, after the group embarked on its first run of farewell shows back in 1982, exactly, The Who returned for one final trek, for now at least, and they, they plan a farewell show, and they had one last couple days ago, and I think they had one today, and they're gonna have one yesterday and today. That's what it was, I think. So yeah, if you care about The Who, then awesome. But it seems like, yeah, I love The Who as well. But also, hello, M8. Very nice to see you. But yeah, it seems like they're actually ending it this time around. So, Next up, Tron Ares. We got some box office news, by the way, guys. Tron Ares Light Cycles onto tracking with $44 million U.S. opening projection. Cool, great. This movie's probably going to be garbage. And Joseph Kosinski is laughing his ass off when F1 becomes a way bigger hit than this ever will be. So, cool. But if any of you were excited for this shit, and again, this is just a projection, so who the fuck knows if this is actually going to be the real numbers. But next up, Materialist is first indie movie of 2025 to surpass 100 million at global box office. What about like weapons and shit like that? Anyway. But yeah, this quirky little rom-com is made over $100 million. And yeah, I heard nothing but terrible things about it, so I don't think this is really all that interesting. But yeah, it's made a tally of $101.3 million and versus a $20 million budget. So yeah, congrats. I don't really care about The Materialists. It looked kind of stupid, and Liz said it was stupid. So, yeah, cool. But now the rest of what we have is casting news. Got a lot of casting news. So, apparently, we talked about this a couple days ago. Insidious 6 is going to be happening, apparently, after, the Red Door was such a huge hit. I said sarcastically. But Brandon Perea set as lead in the new Insidious sequel. But he previously appeared in Nope and the newest film of Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie, A Big Bold Beautiful Journey. But he has been cast as male lead. He's going to be joining Amelie Eve, Lynn Shay, Missy Richardson Sellers, and Sam Spruell and Island Austin. But cool. Maisie Richardson Sellers. She was on Legends of Tomorrow. That's how I know the name. Romantic slot for my dinner. Is he young enough to be Nightwing? I don't know. I'd never heard of this guy before. But yeah, for all 2 of you that care about this, yeah, congrats. It's getting a sequel. Woohoo. Then next up, Willow Smith, Teyana Taylor, Anna Sawai, John Cho, and John Boyega board anime-inspired sci-fi monster pick Slime opposite Kid Cudi. So apparently, we're told that Smith is set to play the role of Muna, with voice work starting next month. Character details for the others are under wraps. So it is anime. It definitely anime inspired. So set in the near future, Slime follows Muna, an optimistic but broke young woman who signs up for a paid clinical trial, only to be injected with a mysterious creature slime that unleashes destructive powers she can't control. On the run, she kidnaps Glenn, the lab worker who injected her, and the two set out on a perilous odyssey through a crumbling dystopian world in search of refuge and a cure. But as the clock runs out, is Muna transforming into humanity's worst nightmare or its last unlikely savior? So yeah, it's very generic, very typical stuff, but if anybody cares about this, yeah. But yeah, I love John Cho. It's got a good cast. Like, it's a really good cast. You know, cool. If anybody excited for this, awesome. I'm not, but yeah. Then Angry Birds 3 adds Mr. Beast, Salish Matter, and more. And it's gonna Angry Birds has not been popular since like 2013. I don't know why they keep making movies for this. They made the movie like 5 to 10 years too fucking late, and they're still trying to remain culturally relevant, even though nobody even has Angry Birds on their phone anymore. So it's just like, Jesus, why? And Mr. Beast, like, how do you do, fellow kids? See, we also like the Mr. Beast. Cool, great, awesome. Don't fucking care. Anyway, something I do care about. Apparently, Fede Alvarez explains why he won't helm Alien Romulus sequel. He had this to say: "I don't think I was ever going to, even though that was contrary to what he initially said, that he was definitely going to be making the sequel. We always knew right when we finished. This is one of those things where you come in and you do one and get out. Cameron, Fincher, all those directors I love, they went and did one. Except Ridley Scott, who came back to do 2 more, but that's beside the point. Obviously, Ridley created, he has the right to make a bunch of them. Yeah, sure, okay. Even though he should have made only the one. We did want to write it. Honestly, it's because we love the characters we created, so we want to make sure no one kills them right at the beginning of the next one. They went and killed Hicks and Newt just like that. Hey, let's not let that happen. We wrote it and made sure they stayed alive, and now we can let someone else. Well, thanks for fucking spoiling it before the movie comes out. So, you know, I will die on this hill. Hicks and Newt should have died. I don't care. Alien 3 was great. It was a perfect ending for Ripley. Ripley was always the main character. Newt and Hicks should have died. I don't care what anybody has to say. But yeah, you know, but yeah, so even though Fede Alvarez said he was for sure directing this, turns out he was kind of bullshitting because he ain't doing it. So hopefully an actually talented director who's good at making these sort of things that will get that for the next one. But yeah, and I might actually go and watch this one instead of, you know, the guy who ruined Evil Dead and the Millennium series. Cool. And then finally, the newest bit that I wanted to include. Apparently, Martin Scorsese sets What Happens at Night next on his big Pantheon filmography, and it's apparently going to star Leonardo DiCaprio, of course, and Jennifer Lawrence. And of course, he's in talks with Apple because that's the only thing he's doing right now. You know, but Deadline hears that Apple Original Films is negotiating to finance and produce the Studio Canal, which has developed the script. DiCaprio is in one battle after another, which is already getting Oscar buzz, so this is definitely interesting. But Patrick Marber penned the script to What Happened Tonight after Studio Canal acquired the rights to the Peter Cameron novel in the spring of 2023. At the time, Scorsese was only meant to produce the adaptation as he percolated other possible follow-ups to Killers of the Flower Moon, even though that was based on a nonfiction thing, so I don't know how you would do another movie after that, but that's beside the point. But yeah, so I mean, DiCaprio's been doing a lot of stuff as well, but yeah, it seems like Martin Scorsese is going to be doing this film next after his Frank Sinatra biopic and Jesus Christ film have kind of, you know, sunk by the wayside, unfortunately. So happy for Martin Scorsese. Hope we get another amazing film out of him. What a gaslight. Yay for Apple. Yeah. Hopefully they'll get good shit nowadays. See, I would be happy if LVD went to Apple at least. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah. That's it. You were waiting. You were waiting. But yes, that is it for. Let me grab this. But that's it for the news side of things. But don't worry, we're gonna be getting into DC stuff soon. But thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Obviously, we're going to be getting into a lot of stuff later. Well, not a lot of stuff, but enough stuff. Mainly Peacemaker, episode 5, Back to the Suture. And hey, James Gunn, why don't you tell us when we were blessed?
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Here we go. Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine. I prefer Jared Leto. Hunka hunka.
Oh my God, guys. Oh my God. It's time. It's time. It's DC time, as Dan and I think it was Iron Sheik would say. I don't fucking know. But welcome to DCU Daily. I'm John. I see. But we are going to be getting into a whole bunch of stuff. And of course, that's going to start off with Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 5. Now, the first thing before we start anything, we're going to be, they're already talking. This was made, obviously, before the episode. So this is a can't miss game changer, streaming very soon episode. So, they were saying over and over again how this was the final episode of like this big sort of amazing fucking thing. How there was gonna be this big, like, the last 3 episodes are gonna be the greatest thing ever. We didn't have anybody watch them, blah blah blah, all that sort of shit. So it seems like, yeah, this is really it. I mean, it seems like Peacemaker is on his way to get taken by Argus. And what's going on with the dimensional rift? What's going on with Eagly and the Eagle Hunter? And yeah, it's definitely quite interesting. Maybe we'll see. But yes, Peacemaker. But there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in this episode. So why don't we get into it? So we are going to have, as I mentioned before, there are going to be spoilers for this episode. So if you have not watched the show, pay attention to the bottom of the spoiler warning. That's when I'm going to be talking about the episode. And we're going to be getting into it. And then once this is gone, we're going to be done talking about it. So finally, let's get into it. Now we got to... There we go. So Peacemaker, at the end of the previous episode, Amelia Harcourt was tasked with getting Peacemaker for Rick Flag. And and so we go off from there, and apparently the copacetic was the warning sign for letting Chris know, like, hey, don't come. Yet he comes anyway. He's bobbing and weaving some like behind people, so that, Judo Master, who was behind the sniper rifle at the end of the last episode, was, getting ready to shoot him, but he can't get a good shot. And so it seems like Peacemaker only showed up being like, hey, you like me. And even though everything was a good enough warning, yeah, that didn't really matter in the end because I called it. I called it that he was going to get kidnapped by Argus. So essentially what happened was, you know, Sol Rodriguez as Sasha Bordeaux, who, by the way, is apparently a cyborg in this. Very, very interesting little tidbit. I don't know if that's comic book related. I don't think it is. But she was actually, they eventually tackle Peacemaker. He tries to get the one up on them. It doesn't work. And fucking Amelia Harcourt bum rushes him, knocks him out before Sasha Bordeaux can take the shot. And so, yeah, eventually they get back to Argus. There's a couple other subplots. Like there is a little bit with Ads and Adrian. They're kind of at the cabin. We do have a little bit of a funny subplot with her, like getting a call for like security detail only for the person to realize, only for the person to think it's a prostitution thing when she's like, fuck, god damn it. And then Adrian like letting her know that, yeah, that's you, they think you're a prostitute. But yeah, so we have some stuff with them. And then, of course, Eagly, yes, he is he's trying to get a one-up on the Eagle Hunter, Red St. Wild, I think his name was, played by Michael Rooker. There's like a kind of a funny back and forth. I don't know. I've never hired a prostitute, so I don't know the lingo in regards to that. So there is a bit of a subplot with Eagly and St. Wilds, and just like kind of like a game of cat and mouse, quite literally use of a mouse. And that's a little bit funny. I feel like Michael Rooker's role, he eventually dies. It's revealed that Eagly, I think, is the prime eagle that he was like going after, like by accident. Like, you know, they reveal it that he was right. And so he hires a bunch of other eagles to eventually kill and claw out Michael Rooker after, you know, he sees that a mouse that was intended for him kills a fox after they eat it. So he realizes, so he needs to get all of his eagle friends and kill Red St. Wild. So kind of a stupid subplot, not really the greatest thing ever. Just like kind of like a funny aside, I guess. But then you have the stuff with the main plot is Peacemaker and all of this stuff, and that's like the big sort of thing where Peacemaker gets in there, and we got a lot of stuff with Rick Flag and more with Amelia Harcourt. There is a flashback at the beginning of the episode, but that reveals that Rick Flag Sr. and her were like family, and you know, I think so it definitely reveals something there. Like there is more, and you know, it's kind of like a somber opening. It starts out at Rick Flag Jr.'s funeral, and you know, Rick Flag Sr. We're family, Amelia. We're family.
I don't have friends. I got family.
You know I had to. Family, come on now. But so yes, so you know, Peacemaker gets taken in by Argus, and we all think, in addition to Peacemaker, that this is revenge, that he, you know, that Rick Flag wants to fucking kill him after he killed his son. And John Economos and Amelia Harcourt kind of realize this, and Amelia's like, hey, John, you gotta do something about this. And like, well, there can be a formal arrest, so if he quote unquote disappears, they can't do that because, you know, laws and all that stuff, and Argus is still a government corporation, so government organization, not corporation, organization. Yeah, you could definitely say that. And so fucking Rick Flag beats the ever-loving fucking shit out of him. He's all bloody to mangled mess. And before I almost said Frank Grillo. Rick Flag can deliver the final blow. Sol Rodriguez as Sasha Bordeaux. Again, I just call them the actors. Sasha Bordeaux comes in and she's like, "Hey, John Economos, he booked him, so don't kill him." And he's like, "Okay." So they eventually let him go. And but there is a nice scene with Flurry, who's kind of iffy on this, and he even tells John Economos, like, "Hey, you did a good thing." And they kind of walk. So there's like kind of like there's more to Flurry than you think. And James Gunn already kind of revealed this on the podcast, that there is going to be a character arc for him, and that they are going to like do something with him. So, we'll see. I'll get into that a little bit later, but yeah. So I think that's an interesting thing for Flurry's character. And I forget who was talking about it. I think Iko Rich was talking about it. Hang on. So I'll talk about the rest of the episode. So eventually Ads and Adrian go and grab him and take him back to the cabin. Michael Rooker's dead, all that stuff. And he realizes that no matter what he does, he can't redeem himself because he thinks that Rick Flag got him because he killed his son, so he beats the shit out of him, all that shit. So he's like, okay, I'm just going to go through the door and close it behind me, and I don't have to worry about anything else. Cool. And with that, very interesting bit, it's actually revealed that Rick Flag didn't do this as revenge. Apparently, we were kind of selling Rick Flag short a bit. He's like, yes, okay, I did enjoy beating the shit out of him, and I still hate him for killing my son. But remember, I'm a soldier at first that is protecting America, and that's what I intend to do. He reveals to Sasha Bordeaux that, in fact, he was just doing this to protect America because he doesn't want what happened in Metropolis, which was the Pocket Universe thing, to happen here. So he's like, Peacemaker, Chris Smith needs to be brought in because he is a threat to America. So, I think I like seeing that from Flurry as well. Rick Flag Sr. is acting a bit like Waller. Now, you could say it's just an excuse, but the way he does it is like, oh, I'm going to make him think I want him for revenge. I'm going to be messy. I'm a shitty soldier so that we can eventually get him. So I do think he's abusing his power, and I do think that, there is something there. But I can see him in his weird, fucked up mind that he thinks that this is some grand plan to eventually get Peacemaker. It's going to fall through. And so but the way he went about it, I think he genuinely believes this is some sort of plan that he has, and that he's actually, well, I mean, we'll see if that's the case. So we'll see if it's an actual BS excuse, but according to this episode, it was like a planned thing to make Chris believe that he's a messy asshole and who only wants him dead because he killed Rick Flag Jr. So, gods and monsters don't have to be literal. Yeah, I guess so. But then then we get to Peacemaker. He decides, all right, he leaves a note for the 11th Street Kids. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm going into the Pocket Universe, or not Pocket University. I'm going to go in there, close it behind me. So him and Eagly go in and go to the Under Universe. However, Judo Master, who was trailing Peacemaker, tries to phone Flurry, but he can't get the alien device distorts it. So he writes down, he's like, I'm going through the portal. So Judo Master actually goes in after Peacemaker. So that's also shown, and then Ads and Adrian eventually get there, and it's revealed that, they find out everything he went through. He left the device there, and so they eventually grab the note, grab him, and find out Judo Master also went in behind him. And so they read the note. It's essentially Chris saying goodbye. I can't find redemption here. I love all of you, even after what he thinks Amelia Harcourt did to like get her job back and not caring about him. And that was also a whole thing where, yes, she wants her job back, but at the same time, she cares about the 11 triggers. So she didn't like just kowtow to getting her job back. So, there is that as well. So they're like, well, we have the device. We're getting him back. But and so at the end of the episode, it's revealed that they plan to use the device to get him back. And I will say, there was a good scene with Adrian Chase. Yeah, he's weird. He's probably got the tism, but it shows that he does genuinely care about Peacemaker. He is genuinely his friend and loves him a lot. So there was a nice solemn scene when he thinks Peacemaker is like genuinely gone. So, but yeah, I think, this is, really great to see. I thought this was an overall very good episode. We're gonna get into that later, Anthony. Yeah, and I will say, Taika Waititi's, this is how you use November Rain in something. It was actually emotional and actually tied to what was going on instead of just inserting the song at random with no causality for what was going on. So James Gunn proving he knows how to use the music at his disposal. So fuck you, white titties. So yeah, overall, I thought this was a very good episode. Still not, I will say this episode and the last episode were kind of weak because I'm like, I care more about the other universe stuff, and apparently the last 3 episodes are going to be huge. So we'll see. But in terms of the huge cameo that's coming, I really don't know. It's either going to be Lex Luthor or Superman. I can't imagine it's going to be anybody else. So iCal Rich was saying this before in regards to the episode. He was saying, I want to talk about how Amelia doesn't know what a cyborg is. Vic Stone isn't on Argus's radar yet. Yeah, here's the thing. Cyborg is a thing. A cyborg is a real-life thing that doesn't just mean the character of Vic Stone. A cyborg is someone who is, I believe, machine and man, which is what the superhero cyborg is, and it's exactly what Sasha Bordeaux is here. So, you don't know what a cyborg is. That's the thing. Yes, correct. But yeah, that was but I thought this was a good episode, good furthering of events. The only thing I would say I really didn't like about it was probably the whole, was like the Eagly stuff. Not saying I hate my boy Eagly. Fucking love my boy Eagly. But yeah, I think, I just think that subplot was kind of weak, and we don't really get like a ton of stuff, we don't get like a ton more stuff, which I get because they're like kind of emotionally prepping us for the last 3 episodes. The scores did go down a little bit, but that's okay. We still love it. It's fine. No, I knew Tim Meadows was gonna fit in like a glove because fucking Tim Meadows is fucking awesome. So, but yeah, overall, good episode, not great. I feel like that 3rd episode, that was such a high that I feel like everything around it was just kind of good, not great. But overall, I still like this season more than the first one. I'm genuinely invested with what's involved. The episode ends with essentially Peacemaker and Amelia Harcourt 2 kissing on the other world, and a a different cameo we got was the kaiju in Superman, although very different context. We just see that like he gets into this world, and Keith is like, what's with the eagle, or what's with the bird? He says specifically the bird. And he's like, oh, it's a rescue eagle. He's like, okay, man, whatever. He's like, he's going to be my sidekick. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Let's go. We got to kill a kaiju. And the kaiju is it looks exactly like the one from Superman. So I don't know if it's like Lex Luthor added again and he's going to appear on the other world, or, yeah, I just, we'll see if like the theory holds up, because Judo Master is probably going to follow Chris into that world. And he's Asian, he's Vietnamese specifically, and he's going to come in. So what's the reaction of an Asian guy being allegedly on a world that is Nazi occupied? So we'll see if that's the case as well. But yeah, unfortunately, it did get one more rotten rating. Nobody really, I tried to find it. I couldn't find it, but I think it was just somebody rating it. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on the episode if you have seen it. But yeah, overall, good stuff with this episode. So, but that's it. That's it for Peacemaker. Next up, we have like a couple smaller stuff, but let's get rid of that goddamn music. So no more spoiler warning. Going back to our regularly scheduled programming, and we're going to go back to regular DC news things. The first thing is actually going to be comic book related. It's about the Marvel and DC comics mashup of how like Deadpool and Batman, Wonder Woman and Thor, and I think Green Arrow and Daredevil and a bunch of others, they're mashing up, and some of them are going to take place on a world where those superheroes have always been on that same world, or the two worlds collide. It's going to be kind of confusing, but as long as it's fun, then I guess that's all that matters. Okay. But anyway, Marvel and DC Comics released official look at Deadpool and Batman's logo, mashup of Wolverine and Lobo. So, Deadpool Batman returns to shop on October 29th with a highly demanded second printing that will feature an all-new variant cover by Ryan Stegman spotlighting the logo. The instantly iconic and Marvel DC mashup hero that debuted in the issue's previously unannounced backup story by Ryan North and Stegman. Wait, spotlighting Lobo. They just spelled that wrong. Or no, it's called Logo. Okay. In case it wasn't already obvious, Logo is a mashup of Logan, Wolverine, and the Ultimate Position Lobo. That is a dumb fucking name. I get it. Logan, Lobo. That's stupid. Anyway, but apparently there's going to be a lot of really great stuff. It's unfortunately, Zeb Wells, but we're going to be getting Daredevil and Green Arrow. Sorry, Captain America and Wonder Woman, not Wonder Woman and Thor. My bad. But Daredevil and Green Arrow is going to be by Kevin Smith and Adam Kubert. Captain America and Wonder Woman is going to be by Chip Zdarsky and Terry Dodson. Jeff the Landshark and Crypto by Kelly Thompson and Gurahiru. Rocket Raccoon and Green Lantern by Al Ewing and Dyke Ruin. And Old Man Logan and Batman from The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. Oh, God, that's going to be fucking interesting. But yes, so we are going to be getting Logo. Here, let me zoom out. Usually that's not the case, but this is the variant cover for Deadpool and Batman. And so we have the Logan Lobo Bubstitch logo. So, stupid title, stupid name, but I think it just goes to show that people are having fun with this one. I'll probably try to snag it soon enough. Yeah, I know. I'm just teasing. That's all. I thought it was good. Teared up at ranks. Yeah. Did Miller draw it? Let's hope not, because it's gonna look like dog shit. But yeah, I think this is really really great to see. And you know, it just shows we're just showcasing the comic side to see, a comic side that, you know, that a lot of people like to see, you know. But Deadpool Batman has been receiving a lot of praise. So, oh hey, Caleb is here. Hello, Caleb. Very lovely to see you. So, yes. But yeah, very wonderful. But that's not going to be obviously the final story, but we are going to be getting into a couple other things. Now let me exit out of that. But we are apparently getting the official synopsis of Supergirl, and according to this, while celebrating her 21st birthday, Kara Zor-El travels across the galaxy with her dog Crypto, during which she meets young Ruthie Mare Knoll and goes on a murderous quest for revenge. Okay, that's literally just Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Also, thank you very much. But yeah, I think that was pretty obvious, you know, considering the what the comic book is about. And so I'm pretty sure they just took the comic book storyline synopsis and just put it here. So yeah. Obviously that seems to be the case here. Friggin' bub. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean this, I don't know if there's much to talk about here. But I think you know, whatever. It's like it's only like the smallest little bit of a synopsis. Babies with man faces, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's much to talk about here because this is just like a week, you know, a week kind of thing. So, you know, yeah, but this is the synopsis, which is just the comic book synopsis. Yeah, exactly. It's just Woman of Tomorrow. I don't really know what it's like. I want to talk about this more because this is kind of a big thing. We finally got a little tidbit on what the actual movie is going to be about, but it seems like they just copy and pasted the comic book storyline synopsis onto here. But it's like, I don't know. It's just like, oh, celebrating her 21st birthday. But from Superman, we already got the fact, oh, maybe. But I feel like that's contrary to what Superman was saying, unless this is a prequel to Superman, and this is the first time she ever do that, and that. But I would hate that. I don't know, because I don't know. I don't really believe this. I think this is just somebody taking the Woman of Tomorrow synopsis and just pasting it here, because this is I feel like this is contrary to what was said in Superman. Like, oh, she does this a lot. This insinuates this is her first time doing it. And if that's the case, then it's a prequel. I don't want it to be a prequel, because then that would mean that she's still kind of a bitch. And I would want her to like grow as a character and not just be like, I'm sorority girl, Supergirl. Like, I don't know. I think so too. I agree. I think because it doesn't add up. To me, this doesn't add up, and I feel like is just a synopsis from the comic book. I feel like, you know, and plus this is from Letterboxd, so I have a strong feeling that like it's Letterboxd. Why, you know, Dark Knight Rises again? No, you're thinking of Dark Knight Strikes. Okay, in terms of the Batman media, in terms of Dark Knight, you have Dark Knight Returns, which is the original from 1986. You have The Dark Knight Strikes Again, which was in the early to mid 2000s. Then you had Dark Knight: The Master Race, which was like a couple of years, I think like 10 years ago. Then you have The Dark Knight Rises, which was the end of the Nolan trilogy. It's exactly. It's from. Yes. Okay. So you did mean Strikes Again. Yeah, it's from Letterboxd. I'm actually gonna double check if it's still on Letterboxd. Let me double check real quick because I can do that. Let's see. Yeah, it's still it's still on that, and I'm not going to show you guys my letterbox because fuck you. um, you know, gonna help sell tickets. I mean, yeah, it's entirely possible. Could this make it the most faithful? No, I think this is just. I think this is just they just copy and pasted. If that's it, then I feel like that doesn't make sense to what was established in Superman. So either this is fake, someone just wanted to shit out a synopsis on Letterboxd, or it's real and maybe it's just being very general. But plus crypto being involved kind of kills the idea that this is a pre. Well, I mean, remember she said, "Oh, hey, where's my dog?" And he said it was a foster situation. He She gave it to him, and then you know but here's the thing, if she was going off on partying on other planets, why would she give away crypto? But then in this movie, why would she take crypto with her? Well, maybe to get killed off, because other people cryptos in the movie, people who read the original comics. So something bad might happen to crypto if they do faithfully adapt the comic book. So we will see. Exactly. I think this all just means wait for the official one. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So this is just going to wait for the official one. Yes, no dead rats either for Robin. But yeah, that's kind of it. But now we move on to, speaking of Batman news. Speaking of Batman news, apparently Clayface, let's yeah, put that on there. Clayface got a bit of a teaser for Batman himself. Well, technically Batman, Bruce Wayne. So we did get another behind the scenes photo. We've gotten references to the Flying Graysons, to possibly the Joker and possibly Penguin, and Zatanna. So we have the Wayne Community Center, although it looking kind of dilapidated, but which makes sense because it is Gotham. And yeah, so the Wayne Community Cedar, because the M and the N are missing, but the Wayne Community Center. So this is the biggest Easter egg yet, is that yes, Bruce Wayne is in this, or at least the Wayne family is here. So we don't know if this takes place like prior to him becoming Batman. This is maybe Thomas Wayne. Who knows? But yeah, everything is Batman. Everything's Batman with it. Anyway, so that's true. Bruce Wayne confirmed, guys. Yes, we're finally getting Bruce Wayne in a proper Batman related movie. Oh my god, that's crazy. Pattinson's bat would let his family center fall apart. Yeah, because he's off of still being a fucking virgin. What a loser. I'm right now. I'm just kidding. Shut up and take my money. Yeah. Yeah. But like this is the first official thing. We have Bruce Wayne, or at least the Wayne name. It could be reference to Thomas and Martha Wayne. It could be referencing something else. So we don't know if it's Bruce Wayne just yet, and we don't know if Batman is here just yet. This could be a prequel to all those events, and this is just one of the many villains. So, in the words of his unbegotten son, fuck Batman. Yeah. Thank you, Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen's third leg. We really appreciate that. But yeah, we got a little bit of Batman. But yeah, awesome to see another cute little Easter egg that we got in regards to the Caped Crusader. So, but that's not all. We have Batman Part 2 stuff. That's the biggest story today, is Batman Part 2. Now we will be getting into that soon enough. And we had this to say. Well, Matt Reeves had this to say, which was, let me zoom into this. And he had this to say. Matt Reeves talks about the Batman Part 2, highlighting Bruce Wayne's story as the primary focus rather than Batman. Okay, cool. That's you know, pretty damn good. But hang on a sec. I have to mute this so y'all don't see my private conversations. Yay. Um, but but yes, and discuss the process of selecting the villain for the sequel. I had a lot of ideas, and then Mattson Tomlin, who's my writing partner, we began the process of this by doing another deep dive into the comics. Wow, comics, using comics as a reference. That's crazy. Exploring the ideas that I had. He gave me ideas that he had. We sat together and watched a lot of movies, honestly. There's an exploration to be had, and one of the explorations for me was to do something that pushes even further into the character of Bruce Wayne, because the first story is so much about the Batman. So picking the right villain, what digs into what that does, that is what drove that discussion. And I won't tell you where we ended up, but I'm super excited about it. And I will say it's never really been done in a movie before. So he kind of says this is a more official looking article and never really been done in a film before. Now, he's essentially saying this. Now, in terms of the actual quote, he said this. So picking the right villain that digs into what that does, that is what drove that discussion. And I won't tell you where we ended up, but I'm super excited about it. And I will say it's never really been done before. I don't think he's talking about the villain here. I think people are just taking that, what he kind of said, and just applying to their own thoughts and theories about it. I don't think, I don't. Okay, here's the thing. It's entirely possible he's doing a villain we've never done before. But at the same time, he didn't say in his quote that it's an antagonist that's never really been done before. He's just saying it. In terms of what's going on with Bruce Wayne as a character, it's never really been done in a movie before. In terms of the relationship between Bruce Wayne and this antagonist, it could be Gentleman Ghost. Honestly, he was in the damn that god awful Cape Crusader show. So here's the thing. I know you guys have your theories, and that's awesome. Like Dan saying, it's a red herring. We're getting Court of Owls and or Hush, and adjacent to that, Elite Easy saying Thomas Elliott, Victor Zaz, Battinson has never been okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm only watching this if Robin's not going to be in it, so you're not watching this. Thomas Wayne was part of the Court of Owls calling it. So here's the thing. I think now, if I were to take a guess that it is going to be a villain we haven't seen before, I agree with that. However, outside of that fact, I don't think that's what he's specifically saying. He's just saying, in terms of Bruce Wayne as a character, it's never something we've done before. Now, who do I think? In terms of the villain, it could be Court of Owls. It could be Hush. It could. Who said it? I agree with Enterprising. Personally, I think it's Hugo Strange, because Hugo Strange makes sense, because that is a very much attributed to Bruce Wayne as a character. Like that, like Hugo Strange as a character is very much tied to Bruce Wayne, because he finds out that Bruce Wayne is Batman. So I think that seems to be going that way. I don't think so. I mean, he did say he delved into a lot of comics, and Mattson Tomlin also delved into a lot of comics. Court of Owls also loops in the Penguin story. Yeah, that's possible. Then you aren't watching it all. Yeah, exactly. I think here's the thing. I think Court of Owls is way too fucking big for one movie. Like, here, when it comes to the Court of Owls, if Matt Reeves is only doing a trilogy, then he shouldn't do Court of Owls. I agree with Tony on this one. I agree partially. I don't know if that's what you're saying. I don't think Caleb is saying Thomas Wayne is alive. He's just saying he was part of the Court of Owls. That's what he's saying. So, but I agree with Tony. If you're doing Court of Owls, you shouldn't do a year 2 Batman doing that story. And on top of the fact, only doing it for one movie, unless it's going to be a 2-parter, which I can maybe see. If you're doing a trilogy, that entire trilogy should be about the Court of Owls, because the Court of Owls is it is fucking a multi-arc story of the original Scott Snyder comics of way back when they were introduced. Court of Owls is fucking huge. You need to devote 2 to 3 movies for the Court of Owls to do them properly. And if you're just doing a small trilogy of a year 2 Batman, then you shouldn't do Court of Owls. It's just too big. Like, I mean, if like Matt Reeves revealed like, oh, hey, I'm not going to be directing the next 3, then sure. Then he'll be like, okay, we'll do 6, kind of like what Tom Holland Spider-Man is. Oh, we'll do 6 Spider-Man movies. Well, okay, we'll do 6 Batman movies, but 3 of those are not going to be directed by Matt Reeves. He's going to go on to bigger and better projects, and he's just going to leave someone, kind of like what Denis Villeneuve did and John Watts did. Denis Villeneuve is doing with Dune, and John Watts did not really. He had much of a choice in the matter, but that's what he did. Exactly. It involves Grayson. It involves, I think, Damian Wayne too. Mad Hatter would be great. I think Mad Hatter would be really good. Well, the first movie was 3 hours. Nah, not really. Like 3 hours is a lot. But the thing is, like, it's got to be like, if you got to do Court of Owls, it's got to be a trilogy or a miniseries to really do that right. So, you know, you heard it here first, folks. Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen's third leg is writing and directing The fucking Authority, guys. You heard it here first. The Authority is happening, and this guy is doing it. Congrats. Yay. It had a lot of brooding and emo aura farming. Yes, it did. What are your thoughts? Your theory is going to be Hush, and he's going to be a contract killer hired by Checkmate or Argus to kill. No way. They're not bringing in Checkmate or Argus into this universe. No, it's going to strictly be Batman stuff. I could see that for Brave and the Bold. I don't think they do Hush, but I could see that for Brave and the Bold, but I don't think it's going to do. So this is like much more an official article in regards to it. So yeah, let me know your further theories. I don't think it's going to be as big as Court of Owls. I can see Hush happening. I can see Hugo Strange. I can see Mad Hatter. I could see one of those guys doing it. But yeah. You introduce character and down the line do huge rights. Exactly. Also, happy Batman Day. Happy Batman. Although, is it Batman Day today? I thought it was the 20th. Hang on. No, it's the 20th, but it's very much early Batman. Well, technically it's Batman Day tomorrow, at least for us on the East Coast, 2 days for other people. But no, Deathstroke doesn't make sense. Deathstroke doesn't make sense. First off, because he's again like kind of like a big super powered kind of character, and you know they're kind of doing the realism thing with this one, and then on top of the fact Deathstroke isn't a Batman villain, so there's that too. Yeah. But yeah, let me know your further thoughts on this. But we're going to be getting into one more thing in regards to Batman, and it's a tiring thing that keeps getting brought up because reporters can't think of any new fucking questions for these people. And thank you, Caleb. You get a round of applause. You get a standing up, and you get a round of applause because you're the only fucking person in this goddamn chat who fucking understands that. God damn it. Because Deathstroke is a fucking Teen Titans villain and a Nightwing villain. He's not a fucking Batman villain, and he's not the antithesis of Batman. You can fuck off with that shit, and I will fucking die on that hill. The whole thing, Bane is a better antithesis of Batman, and there's already 5 other antitheses of Batman that are way better than Deathstroke. Leave Deathstroke as a Teen Titans villain, or as a Nightwing villain, or both. But he's not a fucking Batman villain. So calm the fuck down, Jesus Christ. Anyway, goddamn. Okay, thank you, Tony. Thank you and Caleb are based. But Anthony saying, John, based on this timeline for this universe of Batman doesn't make any sense. No, it does not make any sense. Yes, exactly. Deadshot is a Batman villain. Deathstroke is not. But we have one more thing. And it's yet another person asking if this is going to take place in the DCU or not. God, I'm so fucking sick of this shit. Anyway, let's just get through this. So, the Batman director, Matt Reeves, sets the record straight on whether Part 2 is Elseworlds or set in the DCU, because James Gunn hasn't answered this fucking question enough. But he said, in regards to this, we haven't talked about anything like that. We have had conversation about how things could work and all that kind of stuff, just in general. So, of course, it would be a lot of fun. What I really want to do is play out these stories that we began and arrive at the conclusion I've hoped we would arrive at from the beginning. It's very exciting. First of all, I'm flattered. That's very kind of James to say. It would be really exciting to work with them. Of course, we're working with them on the Batman Part 2. I mean, it's a DC, so like it's Elseworld, but it's DC, so it's theirs as well. What the future brings and what I'm doing will become clear when it comes. So yes, as we have heard 1 trillion fucking times at this point, that reporters and fans refuse to fucking let go, this is not going to take place in the fucking DCU. It is an Elseworld story. It takes place in its own universe. The Batman Epic Crime Saga. Stupid name, sure, but it's its own universe. Robert Pattinson isn't going to meet David Corenswet. They are 2 separate universes. I understand it's annoying because Brave and the Bold still isn't coming out. They still haven't gone ahead with that. But at the same fucking time, the Bex is separate. So please stop fucking clinging to that and just let it the fuck go. God damn. It's so annoying. I think Matt Reeves already said it at least once before, but it's just like James Gunn is higher than Matt Reeves. Why the fuck would Matt Reeves need to say anything? James Gunn's like, we've considered it, but we wanted to do our own thing. Matt Reeves, we want to leave his vision to his vision. So just leave it the fuck alone. God damn. Like, it's just because it just doesn't fucking make sense. It doesn't make sense with the world Matt Reeves has set up. It doesn't make sense for it to appear in the DCU. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, crowd is. I understand. A lot of people want to see them. But guess what? You know what you can do? You can write fan fiction. Cool. Great. Because I know everyone equates fan fiction with smut. But hey, you can write a universe all by your damn self about this version of Batman meeting the David Corenswet Superman. If you want it that fucking badly, make it yourself, because it's never happening on fucking screen. God damn. Rumors, not confirmed. Matt Reeves didn't say anything. James Gunn didn't say anything. It's just a bunch of dumbass people perpetuating rumors about bullshit. Okay? It doesn't mean shit. There's also the rumor that I have washboard abs and a very thick, head of hair. That's what the rumor's saying. Yeah, the big rumors are saying that I got a full head of hair, washboard abs. That's what the rumors are saying. So we gotta believe them. But Shadow of the Veggie Man, Alfredo Wars. Yeah. Saffron has said Pattinson didn't fit either. But yeah, that was the joke, Dan. Thank you for getting the joke. These are facts. Tattoo covered washboard abs, the Ayer cut. Rumors, make something up, rub a genie lamp, going to be a long 2 years of BS, aka rumors. Because as the great Winston Churchill once said, a lie has made it halfway around the world before the truth can get its pants on. you're just gonna like people are just gonna say it over and over again until they think it's truth when it's just not. So, you know, um, you know, it's not a it's not a DCU movie. It's not. It's a Bex movie. It's a Batman epic crime saga movie. It's not in the DCU. It would be a DC Studios movie, but Batman Part 2 is not a DCU movie. Yeah. Don't trust unless Jeff Snyder is the source. Facts, fuck, facts. How'd you know I didn't have my pants on? Until made it's official, it's Cap. It is indeed Cap. Yes, it is a DC Studios movie. Everything DC makes now with James Gunn at the helm, is a DC Studios movie. So, The Batman Part 2 and Man of Tomorrow are both DC Studios movies, but they are a DCU movie and a Batman Epic Crime Saga movie. Difference. So, oh, dude, come on, don't be gross. But yeah, I think so it's like pretty much all DCU movies are all DCU movies are DC Studios movies, but not all DC Studios movies are DCU movies. Get it? Okay. Yeah, I feel like people can, Smallville and Superman Returns, they came out at the same time. I think people need to calm down. So that's it. That is actually it. That was not a ton of DC news today, but I did want to do one more thing, because we will be getting into a little bit of what poll stuff we have, because we did post this a little bit late. We apologize, but we are going to be talking about, hold on, let me grab this. Hang on. What am I doing? Sorry, guys. But I am gonna grab this thing real quick. Why did that work? There it is. The oh god, Dan, you're killing me here. But for Tier List Tuesday, so 38 votes. Batman actors are killing it. But if you still want to vote, you can still go and vote for Tier List Tuesday next week. Batman actors, James Bond actors, and villain rogue galleries. Spider-Man actors are still kind of towards the bottom. So it looks like we're going to be doing Batman actors next week. But then at the same time, I do want to show you guys just a quick reminder for what we're going to have tomorrow, and that is Martian Manhunter. We're going to be doing Martian Manhunter tomorrow, and then these are my choices. See, boom. You didn't catch them? Maybe you blinked. Maybe I'll do it again. Okay, there you go. That's all you get for my choices. But yes, so we will be doing Martian Manhunter for Fancast Friday tomorrow, although technically now today. And then it looks like we're going to be doing Batman actors for next week. However, we might be doing something else if that gets taken over. So, but that is going to be it for DCU Daily today. Thank you all for watching. I hope you liked this episode. We had a lot of controversial stuff today, but we did get into Peacemaker episode 5. We got a little bit into Batman news. We got some casting news. We got more about Robert Redford. Got some box office news. We got a whole bunch of stuff today. But now, as all good things must come to an end. It doesn't have to be, but I feel like if I made him white, I'll get complaints and be called racist. So they're going to be black. Woohoo. But James Gunn, episode 6 of James Gunn, favorite thing ever. But I would put no, Martian Manhunter wouldn't work with the Authority. Get to yes, I mean I have. Hang on, I have my, in order to prepare for spooky season, I do have my spooky Halloween design Oreos. I might have a couple of those. I also have toffee crunch Oreos. They're okay, not great. But thanks for watching. Sorry. What about a Latin Martian Manhunter? We'll think about it. That's fair. That's fair. I just can't envision it personally, but that's just me. But yes, anyway, sorry. So we're gonna be talking about Martian Manhunter tomorrow. Dan might be here. We'll see if he's feeling better, but if he's not, I'll just handle it. That's okay. But then possible Batman actors for next week. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you know when we go live. And remember to everyone, look up and look out.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka.
And of course, always remember,